Hey everybody, so I'm going to show you some things to do if you've been told or you know that you have tight hips or outer hips. So the first thing you see that I'm doing is called a figure 4 stretch, and I'm placing my right ankle over my left knee and I'm pulling my left leg back, and then I'm going to feel that stretch into the outer hip of the right side, and then I'm just going to do the same thing on the left. You're going to want to hold each of these stretches for at least 20 seconds and then move on. So now I'm doing the butterfly stretch, where I'm putting the soles of my feet into each other and I'm going to be pressing my knees down on each side. If you don't feel comfortable pressing your knees down, that's completely fine. And then you see that I'm going to be laying down and doing the same thing. The laying down is really just going to give you a deeper stretch into the hip area. So moving on, I love the sumo stretch. I squat all the way down and I put my elbows inside of my knees and I press my knees out and I feel a nice deep stretch right there. Then you can also do a kneeling lunge, and that is going to stretch that hip flexor right in the front. So if my right leg is down like it is here, I'm feeling that stretch into my right hip flexor. And if you're flexible enough, you can put your hands over your head and stretch all the way back. Again, holding that for about 20 seconds, and then you can move on. From there, you can do a twist. So I'm coming into a kind of a runner's lunge and then twisting from one side to the other. And then from there, I'm going to want to do a pigeon pose. So that pigeon pose is me taking my right leg now, and I'm going to sit on top of my hip on the right side, bending my right knee. That back leg is now going to go nice and straight behind me, and I'm going to sit on top of my right hip. I'm going to find the tightest portion of my hip and sit right on top of it. Of course, make sure that you're doing these on each side. Moving on, you're really just going to pull your knee into your chest and then pull it to the outside. Again, this is a classic stretch, really just to stretch out your hamstrings, your glutes, and of course that hip. And this is a fun one. We're going to cross the right leg over the left and you're going to twist to the right side. So you're going to bring that left elbow to the outside of that right knee and twist yourself. It's a very good back stretch, and as well, you're going to feel it in that outer hip area. Switching from one side to the other. Again, you're holding these for 20 seconds. I'm just demoing these today. And then a gliding side to side, again, stretches the inner thighs, but you're also going to feel it in that groin hip area as you go from one side to the other. And the last one is a pretty difficult one, so don't try these unless you feel very comfortable and you have a lot of range in your hips. And this is that internal rotation. You're going to drop one knee down to the mat and then the other.